Hey, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of how to find success in 30 days and finding success in 30 days. I want to talk to you for just a few minutes this evening, and we're going to continue our discussion that we started yesterday on how to discover your purpose. I told you yesterday that I truly believe that every person that is created in this world has a purpose. And I believe that you have a purpose. I have a purpose. Every human being has a purpose. And I believe that it's a matter of us discovering our purpose. And so we started talking about that yesterday, and we started discussing that there's 10 different ways that we can discover our purpose, right? So there's 10 different ways that we can discover our purpose. And I want to help you understand those 10 different ways. And so quickly, I want to, if I can, recap some of those ways that we discovered our purpose from yesterday. So let me jump into that really quickly and recap some of those ways. We found yesterday that number one, we could find that number one, we could discover our purpose through our passion. You can discover your purpose through your passion. This is more than just what is your pleasure. This is something that drives you. This is something that just really pulls you. And so your passion, what is it you're absolutely passionate about? Number two, we talked about how you can discover your purpose through your personal giftedness. This is the things you've been gifted with, the things that you have as a spiritual gift in your life. What are your spiritual gifts? That is something that you can help in discovering your purpose. Number three, we talked about your personality. Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you task oriented? Are you people oriented? There's a lot of things that go into this, but I want to, in order to really discover and hone in on who am I and why am I here, you have to understand your personality. Number four, you must understand what brings you great pleasure. Now, as I alluded to yesterday, we all have, I think, common criteria of what brings us pleasure as human beings. But I'm talking about you specifically. Here's an example of that to go a little farther today. My wife loves to sew. Sewing does not bring me pleasure, but it brings my wife tremendous pleasure to sew. So you can see that how there's a differential between her things that bring her pleasure and me. I like to watch MMA, UFC. That brings me pleasure. And so the thing is that you can begin to understand how there's differences in us as unique beings in our pleasures and what brings us pleasure, which brings me to number five, our pain points. And we settled in there for just a little bit yesterday, and I want to stop there for just a moment real quick before we move on, because I want to talk to you really quickly about your pain points. And I want to talk to you about how that I've had pain points in my life. I can resonate, and every one of these criteria so far are relevant to me, and all 10 of them are. And I resonate with each one of them, and I hope you are as well. But in your pain points, there's things in your life. One of my pain points is when I was very young, I struggled with dyslexia. I wrote everything backwards. My teachers told my parents that I would write my name, I would write my sentences, I would write everything backwards. And they were mistaken. They told my parents that was a sign of genius, and I'm not sure that I'm a genius. I've been called crazy, which most geniuses are, but I don't know that I'm a genius. But anyway, we all have pain points, and so one of my pain points is that I struggled with dyslexia when I was younger, and it causes me to have trouble sometimes. I don't still write things backwards, but it seems like my mind is 12 words ahead of everything else. Even now, I'm in the next points ahead. And it seems like that when that happens, I have to really concentrate. I have to be intentional about concentrating. And so that's one of my pain points, is that sometimes I don't grasp something as quickly as someone else may. But I'm willing to understand my pain points, and it helps push me to my purpose, and it helps me understand, and that's just one of them, but it helps me understand how to help people learn easier because of the ways I have to learn. I hope that makes sense to you. But let's jump in today because I don't want to hesitate or waste too much time, and I want to get right into these other things really quickly. And I'm just going to put them all on the screen at one time today so that we can just roll through them. I hope that helps you. And that way, also, again, thinking about how I take notes and how I learn, sometimes it's easier if I can just go ahead and write out these things as I'm listening. So if you're that person, I hope that you're taking notes. I hope that you're taking a screenshot. And that's another thing. I watch a lot of videos and things, and sometimes they don't leave the screen up long enough for me to grab a screenshot. And that's really frustrating. So I want to make sure that you get this. So here are the last of the 5 of the 10 ways that you can discover your purpose. Number 6, proficiency. Now, you may not know exactly what the definition of that word means, so I looked it up for us. And the word proficiency means to be competent or skilled in doing something. So what is your skills that you're very competent in? I take pride in the fact that I feel that I am competent enough to run certain levels of technology. For example, this program I'm using to show you this today, and these slides and everything that I've built and put in here and all this stuff, I've learned the majority of this and how to do this within this program this week. And so I feel that when it comes to technology, it's one of my gifts. It's just something that I really am very passionate about. I take pleasure in it. As a matter of fact, I was up until about 4 o'clock this morning doing some stuff for the church. And the thing is that in this context, and the thing is that when I talk about that, I want you to understand that what is it you're proficient in? What is it that you're proficient in? Some people are very proficient in grammar and they make amazing editors. Other people are proficient in cooking, like we talked about yesterday with folks like the Pioneer Woman or Rachel Ray or Emerald Lagasse or whoever, making cakes like Buddy, the cake boss. People are proficient. Oprah Winfrey we talked about. And then you have athletes that are proficient in their skill set and in what they do. And so when we talk about proficiency, I want you to understand that I want you to begin to ask yourself in discovering my purpose or your purpose, what is my skills that I feel I'm very competent in? I am confident in my competence in these areas of skill sets. That's proficiency. Number 7 is praise. Now, who doesn't enjoy praise? And you know what? We're made in the image and the likeness of God. Again, I'm faith-based. I'm not trying to project or cram my faith down your throat. But what I am trying to do is get you to understand some of this teaching. And so if I'm made in the image of the likeness of God, and I find in the Word of God that God Himself inhabits, that means He takes pleasure in the praises of His people, then we all like praise, right? But here's the catch. What is it, when I'm talking about praise, I'm saying, what is it that others tell you that you do well? Now, what you may find already is there is a common thread running through these questions. You may find that the thing that you're passionate about, you may find that the thing you take pleasure in, you may find that the thing that engulfs your personality, and maybe even you have pain points that are associated with this and it's part of your giftedness, but now you're finding that you're competent in it and others say you do it well. Here's an example. We all have heard of Colonel Sanders, the creator of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You may not know the story of Colonel Sanders, but Colonel Sanders did not create the business side, the franchising of Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was 65 years old. What Colonel Sanders knew is he loved cooking chicken. He did it well. People bragged on his chicken. Praise, proficiency, right? People bragged on his chicken. And so he ended up saying, hey, I'm going to do this. He was actually struggling very hard in life before he started the business of selling Kentucky Fried Chicken. And so I hope you'll understand that when I'm talking about praise, what is it that others tell you you do well? That you do well. All right? And if I could just back up to proficiency for 1 minute, real quick on proficiency, let me add this in, that when you're talking about proficiency, you want to talk about and think about, what is it I do so well, that I'm so competent in, that I could do it within 5 minutes of waking up, no problem, from a dead sleep. In 5 minutes, I could be ready to roll and do that task or that skill set very well. Think about that. All right. So let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is place. Now, what I'm talking about in place is when you're thinking about the ways to discover your purpose, where is it that you feel like you're being drawn to? Where's the place that you're being pulled to? When you think about this, we're coming up, as I make this recording, on Easter. And as we come up on Easter, the season of Easter, we know that anybody that knows the narrative and the story of Jesus, then you know that he talks about in his last week of life many times over how he is being drawn and pulled to the place called Golgotha, to the place called Calvary, to his executioners and to his crucifixion. He talks about how he is going to pass and he is going to die. He talks about how he will not stay dead. He'll rise again. He talks about these things. He talks about at the Last Supper, how that he has desired to have this last meal with his disciples, his friends. And he talks about these things. Why? Because there's a place he's being drawn to. That place is called destiny. Where is the place you feel that you're being drawn to? Where is the place that you're desiring to go and you feel like you have the proficiency? You feel like people are telling you you're good in this area of life, and you really have this inner magnetism toward that is pulling you and drawing you to this place, but for whatever reason, you've not moved into it yet. That is a huge factor in where you're supposed to go. Let me quickly share a story with you. I had felt the draw to write a book for 8 years. The seed was planted in my mind and in my heart and in my soul that I should write a book, and I just kind of put it on the back burner. I felt incompetent, all these things. And so I never stepped into that place until recently. And I'm going to tell you this because if I compare myself to a lot of other authors, you would say I've not been successful. If I compare myself to another group of authors, I have been more successful than they. But here's the catch. I'm not comparing. I'm looking at me. And the fact that I had never been in this place, I had never been in this position, I have never authored a book, or even honestly, outside of school, an article. Okay? As I shared with you on the first segment in the session of this, that day I had an article that I have written that has been published on a motivational speaker's website dealing with time management. And so you can see how now that I've moved into this place and this position and this place I've been drawn to, I'm finding success. And the reason why is because I moved into that place. And I want to encourage you to think about the places and write down where it is that you feel you're being drawn to. Let me move on. Number 9, preposterous. I love this one. What does preposterous mean? It means something that is larger than you, something that is bigger than you, something you could never do on your own, right? And this is where I teach people that in order for you to, and we're going to get into this, to develop your purpose, you have to be God partnered. You cannot develop the person you have been created to be if you're not God partnered. And here's what I want to say. If your dream, we just talked about destiny. Now let's talk about dream for a minute. If your dream is not so big that there's no way you can fathom you accomplishing it, then it's not worth your energy or your effort. I hope you heard what I said. If your dream is not at such a capacity that you don't have the ability, even after you discover your purpose, you can't fathom how you could accomplish this, then you need to get a bigger dream. Because I have found in our real unique individual purposes, it's always so much larger than we ever could imagine or even accomplish and take the credit for and the glory for on our own. So I want to encourage you to think about what is the dreams that I've put away because I never thought they would be achievable. You got to understand, you have to understand that so many of the people we talk about had dreams. Martin Luther King is known for that statement where he said, I have a dream. Most people would have told Martin Luther King, Dr. King, great man, they would have told him that's preposterous. But Dr. King knew, yes, it is preposterous. I can only do so much. I can only advocate for the freedom and the rights of Black America. But here's what I do know. I do know that it is preposterous, but I've got a partner in this with me, and his name is God. And so with God, all things are possible. That's a good time just to take a little breather and say, thank you for re-encouraging me and giving me excitement again that I can go the next mile. I've got some preposterous dreams nobody knows about, but they're going to because it's part of my purpose, right? Number 10, I left this one for last because this one's tough, right? Pay the price. Now, I'm not talking about finances or financially. I'm talking about here paying the price. When you find your purpose and you're driven by your passion and you understand your dream is preposterous, you will pay whatever price it takes to accomplish your purpose. Let me go back to somebody I gave you as an example yesterday. This gentleman is by the name of Steve Harvey. Most of you know Steve Harvey if you're watching this. He's known around the world now. He's not only a comedian, he's a motivational speaker because of his life. And the reason he's a motivational speaker is because of this. Steve Harvey was homeless for many years. He lived in his car. You say, why would he live in his car? Because he had a preposterous dream. And he was willing to pay the price to get to his dream. There's something about purpose and that draw to destiny tied in with your dream that'll make you be willing to pay the price that it takes. It might sacrifice my time. It might cost me some money. It might cost me some relationships. I don't know, but in order for me to be who I'm supposed to be, the person that I've been created uniquely to be, I'm going to have to be willing to pay a price. Now, with that being said, I want to encourage you and I want to leave you with a few very quick thoughts. First of all, I want you to know that you have to find your why before you find your way. And I'm going to go back to where I can see you and you can see me. All right? So we've talked about those 10 things, but let me close with this. You have to find your why, W-H-Y. You have to find your why before you can find your way. And the reason I say that is because you have to find your why before you can find your way in direction. If you do not know why you're going a certain direction, how can you ever know the way you're supposed to go? Number 2, you have to find your why before you find your will. This is discipline. The only way you're going to achieve your purpose in life and find real, lasting, genuine success is if you are willing to be disciplined. Discipline is huge. Discipline is huge. This is what sets the person who owns a business apart from the person working for the person who owns the business. If you don't have your own dream, you'll work for somebody else's dream. That's a true statement. So you need to be disciplined, which brings me to the third one. Find your why and you'll find your wonder. So find your why and you'll find your way. That's direction. Find your why and you'll find your will. That's discipline. Find your why and you'll find your wonder. This is your dreams. When you understand, why am I here? What is my purpose? Why do I exist? When you understand those things, you will begin to have your dreams come in alignment. It's like the stars aligning. The universe is behind you and pushing you while God is pulling you. You begin to understand there's forces larger than me at work. This is preposterous for me to think I could ever get to this place. But I want you to understand, if it aligns, if there's the common thread running through every one of these 10 questions, you're on your path to your purpose. And you will soon dock at your destiny. And that's exciting. I don't know about you, but that's exciting for me. Let me close today with this. I was listening recently to John Maxwell, and John Maxwell was talking about purpose. And he was talking about how that when he was a freshman in college, that one of his professors asked a question about their why. And he asked them in 3 questions. And these were the 3 questions. He said, what do you sing about? What do you cry about? And what do you dream about? Now I'm going to share with you what John said. John said as a freshman in college, he sang about finding a girl that would like him and date him. He cried about the girl saying no, and he dreamed about her changing her mind. That's great, right? That's every freshman guy in college most likely. But here's the thing. What do you sing about? What is it that brings you great pleasure in life? Number 2, what is it you cry about? We've talked about this. What is your pain points? Number 3, what is it you dream about? What is it you dream about? What is it that you dream about that is so much bigger than you? And not only that, you're willing to pay the price to get there, and you feel this draw to a place called destiny. What is your dreams? What is your dreams? I encourage you to take the time. You can go back and watch these 2 sessions. I hope you will, but I encourage you to watch these sessions and get the most from them, because I truly believe with all my spirit and all my soul that I am trying my best to empower you to find your purpose and find success in as little as 30 days. And that's what this is all about, folks. This is about finding success in as little as 30 days. And I want to help you be able to do that. I want to help you be able to find success in 30 days. And so real quick, just remember, find success in 30 days, real talk with me. And I hope that you can just be a part of this every day through the month of April and just see what all's taking place, right? And so we're going to be talking about those things, and we're going to be talking about how to find success in 30 days. And I hope that you will be able to be one of the ones who find success in 30 days. It's real easy. All you got to do is jump on your laptop or your tablet or your phone and go to 30 days of how to be successful. Real Talk with Jody Almond. You find that at Jody Almond Going All In. That's on my Facebook page. Actually, if you're typing it in, it's going to be Gains, Gains Leaders, facebook.com/Gains Leaders. That's where you're going to find it. I hope you'll go and like that page and be a part of that community. I'm giving all kinds of content in there regularly. Also, I would love to have you be a part of my email list. You can go to my website at www.solutionministries.com. And I'm going to put that on there real quick, but you can go to www.solutionministries.com and there's how you spell that, solutionministries.com. And there's free resources on there. Some of you jumped in after you saw the videos and have already been taking advantage of those free resources. And so I hope that more of you will do that. And when you do that, you get added automatically to the email list. And I send freebies out to my email subscribers every month just to encourage them and empower them. And a lot of the things I talk about here, they get in a written form and so many other things. And so I'd love to have you be a part of the community of Solution Ministries. And so before I leave today, I just want to say that I'm excited and I'm encouraged by what is already taking place and the words that I'm getting back from people, that they're being helped tremendously by this teaching. And I hope that you'll share it. I hope that you'll share it with your friends and your family on Facebook. And I also have it on YouTube at The Solution is a Facebook page there. And again, it's spelled the same way as far as solution, and it's The Solution on YouTube. And so you can find it there, and you can find the resources there as well if someone doesn't do social media. So I hope you'll join me again tomorrow night at 7:30. I know it's the Lord's Day. I know it's Sunday, but you know what? I promised you 30 days of finding success through the month of April, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver and keep my word. And so I hope you'll join me at 7:30 tomorrow night right here on this live stream, and we will continue to go further. Now we're going to start talking about how to develop your purpose now that you've discovered or started the journey in discovering your purpose. How do I now develop it? And that's going to be crucial for you to find success. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow. But until then, God bless and have a great day.